Okay, now we are going to practice some reading. This time you don't have to pause the video, so just try to read the passage at a good pace, at a good speed, but you don't have to rush. Just try to finish it in the time that's given. So read out loud, and after that you will see some questions, and you can pause the video when you see the questions. And then answer the questions in complete sentences, and then we will discuss them together. Okay, so number one, who is responsible for creating community gardens? So you might say, members of the community are responsible for creating community gardens. Number two, where do people build community gardens? They build them in unused, empty parking lots. Number three, why are community gardens worthwhile for residents? Give 2 reasons. So if you look at the second paragraph, you'll see several reasons. So you might say, some people use the gardens to save money on bills by growing their own fruits and vegetables. Others like the taste of their own fruits and vegetables. And also, immigrant families often grow fruits and vegetables from their native countries that they cannot find in supermarkets. And finally, residents also go to the gardens for light exercise and fresh air. Okay, and then number 4, how do community gardens result in less crime? So you can say, they bring neighbors closer together because they have to work together to create, maintain, and harvest their gardens. And then finally, number 5, why can we expect to see more community gardens in the future? So you can say there are great things gained from them. You can find that in the last paragraph. You can also say they are worthwhile for residents and they create positive changes in a neighborhood, such as offering safe green space, helping the environment, and keeping city air clean. Okay, so let me make a few comments on this passage, on this article as well. So I want to explain the difference between a few and few. So we have a few and few. So when we use a few, it is neither positive nor negative. It just means you have a certain number of something, like I have a few face masks. Now, as you know, because of the coronavirus, everyone's looking for face masks. So if you say, I have a few face masks, then it just means that I have some face masks. But if you say few, then it has more of a negative connotation or negative meaning or negative feeling. So for example, if you say, I have few face masks, then it means I don't have enough face masks. So if we take it a little further, using the first example, we might say, I have a few face masks at home that I can give you. But for this one, we might say, I have few face masks, so I need them all. So if you look back at the story, you'll see in the middle of the last paragraph, community gardens offer safe green space in city neighborhoods with few public parks. So this means in places where there aren't enough public parks, okay? So this is a good example of why articles like a, un, and the can be very important and totally change the meaning of something. Okay, another comment I want to make is, if you look at the last sentence of the passage, you'll see we can expect to see many more in the near future. Near future. Okay, so what do you think it means when we say near future? We can just say we can expect to see many more in the future, and that's completely fine. But when we say near future, then we are trying to say soon. Okay, so near future just means soon. We can expect to see many more soon. Okay, a similar phrase is sooner than later. You hear sometimes people saying things like, I hope to see you soon, and then someone might respond, yeah, sooner than later. And you know, people often say that because when we say see you soon, then it doesn't always happen soon. Often we might not see that person until a year later or even longer. So you're just saying, I really hope it is soon, not years later. Okay, now for our next activity, you'll see another article titled A Worthwhile Commitment. You also do not need to pause this video. Same thing, practice reading aloud, and then you'll see some sentences, and I want you to make questions. Okay, so this time we're going to practice questions. Okay, number one, the answer is they help young people become confident. So you might ask, what do people from Big Brothers and Big Sisters do? What do people from Big Brothers and Big Sisters do? Or you could also just say, what does Big Brothers and Sisters do? So Big Brothers and Sisters is the name of the organization, but as I mentioned before, when you are referring to a company or a business, then even though the company or business is one unit, it is made up of people. So when we use a pronoun, we use they instead of it. So the organization, the people in the organization, help young people become confident. Number 2, the answer is they meet once a week. So you might ask, how often does Rick meet with Leon? Or how often do Rick and Leon meet? Okay, number 3, he was lonely and insecure. So we might ask, what was Leon like at first? Okay, what was Leon like at first? Or what was Leon like in the beginning? Or what was Leon like before Rick met him? And then number 4, you can share the kinds of activities you already like to do. So you might ask, what can you do with the young people there? Or what are some of the volunteer duties? And then number 5, it is fun and worthwhile. So you can say, why does Rick recommend volunteering with big brothers and big sisters? Why does Rick recommend volunteering with big brothers and big sisters? Or you can even ask, what is the main idea of the article? What is the main idea? Okay, so now you're going to see a volunteer advertisement. So look over it and then make questions again for the statements that you see. Okay, number 1, the answer is at least 16 years old. So you can ask, how old do you need to be? Or how old do volunteers need to be? Or what is the age requirement? Okay, number 2, the answer is 3 hours a week for 6 months. So you can ask, what time commitment is required? Or how much time do you need to commit to? Or what is the time commitment? Number 3, the answer is an orientation session. So we can ask, what kind of training is required? What kind of training is required? Okay, and then number 4, the answer is no experience is necessary. So we can ask, what kind of experience is needed? What kind of experience is needed? Okay, and number 5, the answer is delivering toys, reading stories, greeting visitors. So you might ask, what are some of the job duties? Or what do volunteers need to do? But if you want to be exact with the tense, then you could say, what will volunteers be doing? What will volunteers be doing? And then that way you can keep the ing ending.
Okay, so I actually forgot to include one more activity from our grammar connections lesson. So we're going to practice using used to and be used to. So you'll see some sentences that you need to complete. So you can pause the video when you see the sentences and resume it when you're finished. Okay, so let's go over the sentences together. Number 1, I am used to getting up early for work. So one of the hints is getting, which is a gerund. So we use a gerund with be used to form. So I am used to getting up early for work. Number 2, I used to walk 5 miles a day. Used to. Okay, number 3, you can see that you need to use a negative form. So you can say, I am not used to spicy food. I am not, or you can say, I'm not used to spicy food. You can also include a gerund like eating. So I'm not used to eating spicy food. That's fine too. And then number 4, I used to live in the city, but now I live in the country. Used to. And number 5, also negative form. I didn't used to speak English. I didn't used to speak English. And number 6, I am used to helping my family with their chores. I am used to, or I'm used to helping my family with their chores.
Okay, and finally, we are going to practice writing. So let's write a paragraph about a famous person who has made a difference. Okay, so you're gonna see a list with the common question words like who, what, when, where, why, how. So use that list to help you to make notes and then form your paragraph. Okay, so for example, we can write a paragraph about Martin Luther King Jr. So this is a very simple paragraph, but it answers those important question words. So we might say, Martin Luther King Jr. was a civil rights leader who fought for the rights of African Americans in the United States. He protested peacefully and gave inspirational speeches such as his famous I Have a Dream speech. He was assassinated, but his efforts resulted in the passing of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, and his legacy continues to influence many today. So for this one, you can pause the video when you see the list of question words, but after that, you can take as long as you want to write the paragraph because this is the end of our lesson, and you can also send that to my email. Okay, that is the end of Unit 5. So in our next lesson, we're going to start Unit 6. So I will see you next time.